In this short video, Karen is going to explain lighting and share her tips to consider when planning photos of your pups. All right. Okay. So the second tip we'd like to hear from you is all about lighting.
Mhm.
So, is there a time of day that works best for lighting when you're taking photos of dogs or puppies or your pets? And is it worthwhile waiting for a different time of day or for even an overcast day to get different effects with lighting? We'd love to
Yeah,
know what you think.
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So, light has color temperature. That's what we call it as photographers. And if you want to see that, you kind of have to train your eye to it because we often just think light is light, it's one color. But if you go out in the morning, early morning, or late evening, think sunrise, sunset, those are very warm colors. When you get to high noon, the color has gone more blue. And you can look at your hand or a piece of paper and take it outside and train your eye to see it. I know when I was starting out as a photographer, I used to sit, I took public transport. So I'd sit on the bus and I would look at my hand or my papers that I had, and I would actually start to see the color change. So why is that important? Because again, if you are on your website and you realize that you have warm versus cool, then you want to pick a time of day that if you're going to use natural light, that emulates those colors that you want. So if you want warm tones, try early in the morning, especially if you're outside, or later in the day, you know, less what we call open shade. So in the shadow of a building or something where it's still bright out will be cooler than out in the middle of the sun. If you're at home and you've decided you're going to photograph your puppies at home, know that light again has different color temperatures. You go into beautiful restaurants where they want like the ambiance to be cozy. They will use tungsten lighting. They will, well, everyone uses LED these days, but they'll change the color temperature to warm. If you've ever had a tungsten light bulb and then suddenly you change to LEDs and it feels really like cold, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing this different light temperature. So you can choose what light that you want. The second thing that you want to think about is soft versus hard. And hard is another word for contrasty. So that's when you get into this idea of, oh, an overcast day is the best time of day to photograph, is the best kind of day to photograph someone on because it's nature's softbox and it's very soft and there's not those hard, defined shadows and these really, really bright lights. So, people will say overcast is the best time. I would say it depends. So overcast is a darker day. That's what clouds do. They dampen it down. But you want to consider the fact that if you're photographing inside, it might even be too dark for you to photograph on an overcast day. It really depends about the quality of light that's coming through your windows. And then outside, you might want to get still some light up in the eyes so that you don't get raccoon eyes. That's what we get as humans. We get very dark circles under our eyes if because our eyebrows basically cast a shadow onto our cheeks. An overcast day helps with that. So if you have no other option, yes, but be aware of what you're trying to accomplish.
Amazing. I've never thought of it like that. I've never actually thought about how different times of day, the light is actually a different color. And that should also, to your first point, cohesiveness of the brand, it should really match. Wow, that's really insightful. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Karen. And before we let you go, we want to hear a little bit about how we can get your help for those of us who are in Toronto and the GTA, and know that we can't necessarily achieve this ourselves at home and maybe need the help of a professional, at least in the beginning to get going. So, yeah, please share with us a little bit about your services and, yeah, what you have to offer the breeding community here at Paction.
Yes, so I do breeders' photos. I photograph the litters usually once, depending on it's 6, 7, 8 weeks in and around there when they're small. The benefit of working with a photographer is that you are a breeder. and that is your expertise. I wouldn't dream of trying to breed animals because I've just simply not gone through the training, and I wouldn't do that. So you want an expert. If that's what you're looking for, then you want a photographer that specializes in animals. If you work with the same photographer, the benefit of that is that they will get to know your breed, they'll get to know your brand. I always ask people, like, it's not just that I show up and take photos. I'm definitely, asking them so that we can plan this out in some way. You can also get photos of you, your headshot. A lot of people hide on their websites. Your About You page, everybody will tell you should have a photo of you. Now you're looking for a random photo that you're not maybe so proud of. You can get that. You can also get photos of your staff if that's your operation, photos of your location, photos of you interacting with the puppies, feeding time. You can build a stock library if that's what you want to do. And you also have the benefit of, if you're not so flexible, because little puppies and little kittens, they're very, very small. And so you either have to get them up off the ground so that you can photograph them kind of straight on, or you have to be ready to lay on the ground. And I get into the weirdest positions. So that's you can outsource that piece, is all the gymnastics that you go through. But yeah, I live in the GTA, so I service a lot of Southern Ontario. And if you want to get a hold of me, I'm sure it's poshpetsphoto.com, but I'm sure there'll be some information in the show notes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you for being with us here today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.